The Pasadena Area Community College District Board meeting of Wednesday, October 18th, 2017 will come to order. The board had a closed session, and we discussed 2 items, and there is no reportable action. Roll call, please.
Dr. Selvage?
Here.
Dr. Fellow? Mr. Osterling?
Here.
Ms. Brown? Here. Mr. Hilsman?
Here.
Mr. Martin?
Here.
Ms. Wah? Here. Ms. Ekshian?
Here.
Trustee Martin, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please stand. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do any trustees wish to reorder any items on the agenda? Hearing none. Introductions and recognitions. President Meridian?
We don't have it.
Thank you. Trustee Osterling, do we have any public comment on items not on the agenda?
We have one speaker tonight, and that is Mr. Martin Enriquez.
Good evening, honorable trustees and assembled persons. Currently, there's a case before the United States Supreme Court named Gill, G-I-L-L, versus Whitford. That's W-H-I-T-F-O-R-D. Among the briefs submitted were ones from Oregon, with California joining in, and another one by the State Redistricting Commission. And that case will be decided next year, 2018. I don't know if it will have a bearing or not, but at least the state of California and the State Redistricting Commission have chimed in as to what is California law. I know that since 2012, there's been a lot of case law before the Supreme Court, and they have clarified more what are the rules that are in place. I know we're still processing the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment, but those amendments show that our Constitution can be bettered and improved upon with the full weight of tradition and what have you. But nonetheless, those cases are coming forth, and I will give you copies of those briefs. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
That's it.
Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll move approval of minutes.
This is for the meeting of 15 September.
That's fine.
Or excuse me, September 20th.
I move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Any objections? Without objections, it's approved. Approval of minutes, meeting of October 7, 2017.
Move approval.
Second. Any objections? Without objection, that is approved. Approval of minutes, meeting of October 11th, 2017.
I move approval.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded without objection. That is approved. The consent calendar. Students. Approval, ratify student travel to GMS HENAAC Conference, Pasadena. That's the only item on this part of the consent calendar. Anybody want to discuss that?
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oops. passes 6-0 with trustee fellow absent and student trustee voting in favor. Item E, consent items, instruction.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote, please. Item E passes 6-0 with trustee fellow absent and the student trustee voting in favor. Thank you. Item F, consent items, business.
Move approval.
Any objection?
I don't have I just wanted to make a comment, but I'm not in objection.
Okay.
Okay, I think, and I'm getting caught up here, one of these was approval of the auditors for the next 3 years. I think that's one of the ones in this section, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm happy that the recommendation is for VTD. I think in the future, the proper procedure would be to vet that through the board budget and audit committee meeting. And so I just want to make that known. I appreciate we've been provided the information on the top 3 candidates. I think it's a wise selection. And I'm actually not one that believes you got to change auditors every other week for any particular reason. So I'm comfortable staying with the people we have, but I just wanted to make that comment. And I think I think that's it on that. Thought I had one other, sorry, just quickly perusing them. No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, the record will reflect trustee Martin's comment. Without any other discussion, vote please.
Oh, I do remember. I wanted to put a shout out because we're going out for RFPs on,
We'll have a comment at the end of the meeting.
no, a comment on one of the B. My other comment on a B report was an appreciation that we're going out on an RFP for the ability to go out with longer-term investments to increase our returns on our post-retirement benefits, and it's something I've been advocating for a long time, and I'm appreciative that that's in process.
Okay, vote please.
I think we voted, but. Oh, my notes. I don't know what notes.
Item F is approved 6-0 with trustee fellow absent and the student trustee voting in favor. Item G, consent items, personnel.
Move approval.
Second.
Any comments? Vote please. This item passes 6-0 with trustee fellow absent. H, action items, recommendations for approval. Approval of Chancellor's Office 2017 scorecard.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay. As mandated by the state, every college is required to agendize the scorecard at one of the board meetings. A presentation must take place and a discussion should take place following that by board members. Then the minutes must be sent to the State Chancellor's office following the approval of the minutes. So today we will have the honor and pleasure of listening to Ms. Crystal Colrose, our Executive Director of Research and Planning, who will present to us the scorecard as it relates to Pasadena City College. Ms. Colrose, it's yours.
Well, the honor and pleasure is all mine. Thank you. So welcome to the 2017 scorecard report for Pasadena City College. I'm hoping you all had a chance to look at it, and you'll have some really great questions for me, I'm sure. Yay. So let me just go ahead and get started on this. First of all, just a little background. I always like to remind you why I come up here once a year to talk to you. But there's been an evolution in the scorecard. It started at PFE. I'm sure Mr. Martin remembers PFE, yes, and the evolution that took us then to ARC. And now we're on what we call the scorecard. That started in 2013. And as you can see, I tried to show that they've really moved from the course level to talk about completion and momentum points to completion. So the scorecard data is really about that. It's completion and momentum to completion. So we'll talk a little bit about the indicators. They're pretty much the same this year as they were last year. I forgot to put one on your presentation, which is the last one, Skill Builder, but I've added it here. And this is the new one this year, because every year they like to give me a new one. So the new one this year is called Transfer Level Achievement, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So the requirement is, as Dr. Verdian said, is that you review and adopt and have a discussion so I can submit the minutes to the Chancellor's office, and there's the ed code that says this is what we got to do. All right, so let's start with the good stuff. 5-year trends for completion. I stuck a blue line in there for you so you could see the overall completion rate. And just so that you know that I'm telling you the truth, it really hasn't moved much. Now let me just quickly and briefly remind you how this works. This is a cohort where they look at a cohort year and then they follow the students for 6 years. So when you see the last year, the cohort came in 10 and 11, and then they followed them through 15, 16. Okay, so they got 6 years. So that's the most recent cohort that we're looking at, which that means they came in pretty much a long time ago and left like a year or so ago. So that's the last one. And then we have the 3 bars, which talks about the overall, the college prepared. Those are the students who come in ready to take college level math and English. And then we have the remedial, those who had to take any remediation in either math or English. So all good?
That's 2011.
They came in 2010, 2011, so probably most of those came in the fall of 2010.
Yeah, okay.
That's good, okay. So then I did a little work here and broke this out for you by ethnicity, and those 2 that I've pulled out there, which is the Pacific Islander and the American Indian, I didn't want to forget them, but I did want to notice that they're very tiny cohorts. They're always like less than 25, so that means any change is going to look huge on a scale. So I'm going to pull them out for you, and we're now just going to look at the bigger groups within the overall completion rates. As you can see, again, our highest performing groups are our Asian students and our white students. And then down there on the lower level is our African American and Latino students. But again, the good news is you can see those lines are going up, particularly for our Latino students. And I want to point out in the last cohort year, 10-11, that cohort, 45% of the students in that cohort were Latino. So almost half of the students in the cohort are Latino in the 10-11, and that's going to go up every single year for us. But that's why they're such an important part of our overall rate, because they're such a large part of that cohort year. Any questions? Good. Good, okay.
Yes, Trustee Brown has a question?
Oh, sorry.
I just, I'm curious. So here it clearly says that the cohort is 25 students?
So if I go back to this slide, so the Pacific Islander cohort and the American Indian Alaskan Native, it's actually less than or equal to 25. And some years, there are only like 10 of them in the cohort. I'm not saying that's the total number at the college, but that's all that's in the cohort.
So actually, what kind of bothers me a little bit, to be honest, is that we have pretty much, almost 30,000 students, 26,000 students, and we're sending a report to the chancellors with 25, a cohort of 25.
Well,
So how?
we don't send them a
how does
cohort.
that-
We don't send them a cohort of 25. The
So then I'm
chancellor's office
missing
establishes the
something.
cohort
Yeah,
for
that's-
us. Yeah.
I
So,
think what Ms. Colrose is saying is that we removed from the study the Pacific Islander and the Native Americans because those cohorts were very small, of 25 or fewer. And so therefore, any slight change in performance would be indicated by a very significant rate of increase or decrease. And from a statistical point of view, those two groups were removed from the data. The other cohorts are huge cohorts.
Okay,
the
so
other
that-
cohorts of thousands of students.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's what threw me off.
I'm sorry. So I didn't really remove them. It's just that when you look at them and you can see they go up and down and they have these big, but that's probably only a change of 2 students because the cohort is so tiny. You know, if you have a cohort of 10 and 2 students are unsuccessful one year and then they're successful the next year, you just get big swings.
So what, going back to my question then, what is the amount of students that we're using in this
Oh,
cohort
okay.
study?
I can tell you it year by year if you'd like to.
Just on average.
On average, it's about 10 Native Americans and it's about 15 of the other what? I'm
No, I
sorry.
moved off.
Crystal,
No,
give the total number. The
students,
total.
the
Oh.
students.
Great, got it. Perfect question. Sorry. It varies between about 3,500 and 4,000 and it's different each year. But the most I've seen is about 4,000 in the cohort.
Thank you,
Very good.
Crystal.
Sorry, my bad. Okay. All right, okay, so good. We're seeing a good progression in our Latino student success rate. That's excellent. Okay, so every year you like me to give you a little more information, so I did some of the other colleges in the state. And again, De Anza is at the top. Their overall completion rate is actually the best in the state right now, and they have been for several years. And then followed this year, I looked at the local colleges, College of the Canyons, Glendale, and then PCC. So it's just kind of a flavor of how we're doing with our neighboring schools. Yes.
How do you get, narrow it down to the cohort size of, say, 4,000 from our total
Great. Sure.
population?
Well, I don't narrow it, the chancellor's office does.
chancellor's office
Sure.
does,
And so
but-
what they look at for the cohort to get into it, you have to be a first-time student, and that's first time anywhere in the system, so you haven't taken any units anywhere. You complete 6 units in your first year, and then within the first 3 years, you attempt either math or English, or both. That's how you get into the cohort. So it's not really a reflection of all of our first-time students, it's just a reflection of those who meet those particular factors.
And in essence, you're trying to weed out students that aren't really trying to get through community college, to narrow it down to get to the cohort that you're using, that they're dictating.
I don't like to say they're trying to weed them out. I think they're trying to put some parameters on it where we have students who are engaged in behaviors that they think are leading towards completion. I would hope that we would take a look at that and say, we have more students than that, how do we get them all to behave that way? But that's on us.
Thank you. You said that better than I did.
Okay, good, thanks. Okay, so in this one, I just removed a couple of the schools. I took out the statewide and I took out East LA, so if this was a little easier for you to read if you had any questions. And again, you can see we are number 4 there, right after. We do actually pretty well statewide. We look pretty good. Okay, all right, so this is persistence, and this is a 3-term persistence, and this is actually one of our best numbers. So this is 3 major terms, so that means fall, or spring, fall, spring. They're enrolling in 3 major terms, and our persistent rates are very good. So you can see over these cohorts, we're always in the 80s. So yay us. Okay, persistence by
On the last
Yes.
slide there, I was just sort of doing what some people might call an ocular least difference, just drawing a line, with eyeballing it, and we're certainly progressing pretty much steadily. And for those 3 different categories, the red, which is overall, or orange, red, okay, we got 3 different colors there. They were up by 11%, 12%, 11%, and 14%, not percentage points, but percent increase in the success. And that looks pretty good over 4 years from the base.
I think the really good one for us is our ability to help our remedial students persist. That's usually a problem. When you get students who need a lot of remediation, they tend not to persist, but we do very well which means that we're engaging them on the campus even though they have to take remedial coursework.
They were the one that went up 14%.
What's that again?
They were the one that went up 14%.
Yes, yeah.
The others were just below that.
Good. Okay. Okay, persistence by ethnicity. Again, we're seeing some really good gains here. But as before, we have our Asian students who do really well and keep us above there. 30 units. Okay, so I broke this out into two. We have 30 units. And 30 units is considered a benchmark to increase gains in salary later in life. And that's really like 1 year of college, technically, if you consider 15 units a semester. So they always use that as a benchmark to completion or momentum in life because they consider you in 30 units of college credit, you're going to have salary gains. Regardless if you get a degree, they feel 30 units is the benchmark. There's been research done on this. So again, our overall are prepared and a remedial, and then I broke it out by our larger ethnicity groups. And great, again, our largest ethnicity group, which are our Latino students, we see continuous gains there for them. So that's good. That's a momentum point to completion for us. All right, this one is remedial per progression rate, and as you can see, this is where a student starts in a course that's below college or transfer level and makes it to college or transfer level. And honestly, it's astounding, but you can see in math we're making great gains here, a 13% increase over these 5 cohorts. So that's great. And all of our remedials are really doing pretty good here. We're making some really nice gains here. English, ESL, all of them. So it's good. This is something we really want to be able to do. And this is really, at this point, you're looking at numbers where we haven't started any of our real interventions yet. Because the cohort 10, 11, by that year, we really hadn't started the interventions that we're doing now. So I'm thinking we're going to see some really good gains in this going forward. It's just going to take us a couple years to see it in this data. Okay, transfer level completion. So this is a new one. And this is students who complete transfer level English or math in 1 year or 2 years. So I know the math looks like out of proportion to the English, but we always have to remember there's more levels below transfer for math than there is for English. And the year 2 builds on the year 1. Okay, all right. Okay, this is our CTE, Career Technical Education, career completion rate. Again, doing good, making progress. This is the one you probably haven't seen. This is Skill Builders. I had to kind of dig this. They didn't give me a 5-year trend, so I had to go back and look. And this is the medium wage change for those students we call Skill Builders who've come back and just take a couple classes within a top code for skill building. And now, we don't know what is going on with administration of justice there. We assume that's going to like mend itself at some point because we really find it hard to believe there's 136% wage change. But that's the way the data looks right now. I don't know if there was like 5 students there who just got really high paying jobs. We don't know, but I think that'll correct itself at some point. But again, we're looking at, again, from 2016, our overall average was 14, almost 15%, and this last year it was 31. So again, this means that we have students who are coming back, taking a couple job classes, and able to go out and get a change in their salary. So again, yay us.
Let me just ask a question on that one. So what is the cohort size for this particular chart?
That's a good question. They're actually the numbers within each of the different jobs, like the paralegal, administration. It's not that large. The largest one actually is administration of justice because that's the one we give out a lot of certificates in.
So what, just give me a rough idea of what that would be.
That one was about, I think, 125.
And how do you track this?
The Chancellor's Office tracks it for us, and they use EDD data.
Okay.
So, and one of the problems, of course, with that is that if you have entrepreneurs out there
Right.
who aren't, doing the workers' comp, we can't capture that, but they do it for us. They have a relationship with EDD.
So this, seems to me this is a little sketchy chart. I mean,
A little sketchy? I agree. And
What's
I-
your comment on that?
My comment on that is that I appreciate that they're actually going out and trying to get this data
Yeah.
for us, because
Yeah.
it's very hard for us to get it. So I'm hoping that it's going to get better and clean itself up as we go along.
Okay.
It's been a really long time when we haven't looked at wages or that they were even getting jobs. So I appreciate the effort they're putting into us and that they added this for us.
Yeah, my word, sketchy. Sorry.
That's okay. I'm fine with sketchy.
Yeah, Dr. Juni.
If I could also make a comment, this actually is something that the Chancellor's Office added not all that long ago, and it was in response to the fact that many of the students we serve come here for just a few classes to do just this for
That's
their
right.
jobs. And we used to have those, they were counted against us because those were students that were coming in and they weren't completing anything other than a few classes. And so by adding this skill builder as a way of tracking those students, we actually get credit for doing something good for the students that come here to just increase their wages in their current jobs.
Yes, Trustee Martin.
Maybe I missed it when I was looking for this slide here.
Yes.
So the skill builder 16 and 17, there's different, some are the same, some are different. Maybe you said this, did you just select the most pertinent? Is this the ones we happen to get?
These are the ones they give me.
So in 16, the chancellor gave you these topics,
Yes,
and in 17, it's these, and
yes,
fortuitously, administrative justice just happened to be one on both.
yes.
Okay.
Trustee Watt.
So I've seen some of the charts that Mount SAC has done on their skill builders completion and wage gain, and they actually have tracked what that wage gain is. Is there any way for us to also get that? And then the other question that came up when we had the superintendent's lunch was whether or not if we're tracking where the students go by district, by our own PACCD high school districts, where are the students going after they leave PCC, and then their success rate?
Are you talking about where they go after for jobs or where they go after for additional? For both? Well, we can do a lot of the school because we can use National Student Clearinghouse data for that, and that's gotten really good for us. Jobs is a little tricky, but we do involve ourselves in the CTEOS survey, so we've been using that to track where they're going, the kind of jobs, mostly on the average of are they getting jobs within the sector that we educated them for. So yes, we are working on that, and thanks to the budget allocation process this year, and Dr. Storty for being so generous, I actually got a little extra money in my budget this year to go out and get EDD data so we can do matches for our students who get certificates on Social Security numbers to get information about where they are and what their jobs are. So we're looking forward to doing more of that work.
Great, so that'd be great if we could see those reports at some time and share those. And then also, as I said, I'd seen Mount SAC's data where they actually tracked the wage gain after the skills builder course completions.
Yeah,
And so-
we're going to really work hard on doing that.
Okay.
We have to get the, work with the chancellor's office because we got to get the SSNs back and everything. But we are getting the EED data, so we're excited to do that. And we've actually done some of it already for our Aspen work. So, I'm more than happy to bring that in and share that with you.
Yeah, I think that'd be really helpful. I know Trustee Oster and I are working with the Rotaries, and my Rotary is very, we do a lot in terms of reaching out and trying to do internship connections with our kids. So it'd be great to be able to see that data and present it to the community.
Awesome, sure.
Great, thank you.
Trustee Osterling.
Can we go back to slide 5, the completion, 5-year completion trend?
Yes.
So Crystal, what's your interpretation of this slide, and more specifically over the last 5 years, all 3 ways you measure it, it didn't really go up appreciably or down, it stayed the same. And I would think with some of the efforts we've undertaken, we would have expected to see that go up over that 5-year period.
I think that's a great question, but I think what we have to remember here is that the last cohort came in 10-11, and the efforts that you're talking about really, I think for us, started in 13-14, because that's the year where Pathways really had their first big cohort. There was like over 800 students. So prior to that, I honestly don't think there was a lot going on where we were addressing these issues.
So we would hope and expect to see, let's see, next year and the year after that, we should start seeing these go up as a result of those increased efforts.
Well, next year we're going to drop off the 6-7 cohort and we'll add the 11-12. The following year, we'll drop off the 7-8 and add the 12-13. And then the year after that, and hopefully I'll be retired, kidding, we'll drop off the 8-9 and add the 13-14. And unfortunately, that's one of the problems, is you're going to wait 3 years before we've tracked that really sustainable cohort of Pathways for 6 years out. So, I mean, I think these are just great questions, but we have to understand what they're giving me to work with here to present to you. But we've been looking at the 13-14 cohort, and we've done some analysis on them, and they're doing really well. That cohort has really picked up steam. So we're hoping as that group gets larger, we'll see more increases. But to answer your question, 3 years before I'm going to get the outcomes for that cohort.
Okay, thank you.
Can I go? You ready?
Trustee Hilsman.
Hi again. Back on the jobs.
Yes, let's do it.
So let's look at it on a macro level, 30,000 feet for a second, and imagine that you're the chancellor or you're in the chancellor's office. Is there a better way? I mean, how can they more comprehensively capture some of this data and analyze it and do it useful? It seems to me the EDD, I hear that a lot, but it seems to me the EDD is not the best institution, should we say, to capture this. I don't know what there are any alternatives, but what's your view on that personally?
My personal view is that we, in some ways, handicapped ourselves in the state because we don't really have very good mechanisms in place to track data all the way across all the systems. We have become, we track ours, they track theirs, but we really need to, in my opinion, going forward, we need to have a centralized database where we're tracking students from elementary school all the way on to their 4-year degrees, because then I think it's going to make it a lot easier for us to track them out into jobs and to wages because they're going to be used to it. But we don't have that right now.
So who does that? Does EDD do that, or?
Well, the way it's working right now is the chancellor's office submits, social security numbers to them for our students. They get the data back, they filter it through, and then they give it back to me. Okay, so then you're going through a lot of processes. You're hoping, and the problem for a long time was the SSN doesn't match because you have to have that in order to match EED data. So if students doesn't have an SSN, can't match it to EED data, so we're not really sure how much we're losing. But if we at some point said, you know what, we're going to give students an ID number,
Right.
that we track them all the way through the systems, and the EDD has that number as well, that would give us a lot more, and I think a lot more robust information to deal with.
Yeah, and it's critical to economic development. I mean,
Absolutely.
it really is. That could be a real key, because then you come back to the community colleges and say, well, this is where you need to work to do better, and but you have to start with the data, and it seems to me the data is you're sort of handicapped with the way the data is processed now.
Yeah, I recently read a white paper on this, and unfortunately, they said it's not the K-12s or the colleges, or the 4 years. It's politics that's keeping us from having this interaction. I can't say that I was overly surprised by that, but that's what they said.
What are the politics of it? You mean the bureaucracy?
Yeah,
Okay.
of getting everybody on board.
Could you send us a copy of the white paper you wrote?
Sure. I didn't write it. I read it, but yeah.
You read it, okay.
Sure.
Send it.
Yeah.
I thought you said you wrote it.
I wish. I'm not that smart, but yeah. It was very interesting when they talked about it.
Thank you.
Trustee Wah.
Well, that wasn't my question, but just to enlighten you a little bit. So some of this has been discussed at the on the Strong Workforce Task Force, and the student ID was a big issue. The governor has not been a big fan of a student ID. Part of it is the whole privacy issue. But we do have examples, and I think I've mentioned this to you, Dr. Veridian. We have examples of some districts who have regionally
worked with their K-12s, and they can do it on their own to establish an ID that will take us all the way from the K-12s through the community colleges.
That is one of that is the intention of the college, to work with our school districts here to create that. If you notice, at our last principals and superintendents luncheon, we did bring that up. And so now we're going to be working with them directly to see how we can make that happen.
I think that if we do something like that, I think we would be a model if we could get that done. And I think I'm kind of surprised to hear that we're not seeing a central source of where we're getting this data, because just at the task force level, what we talked about was this coming through EDD as well as the WIBs and being able to act as sort of the central facilitator. And Tim Rainey, who is the state WIB director, was really encouraging the WIB's participation in this. So, it might be something that we want to push forward to the chancellor's office and let them know what's working and not working. But anyway, my other question was actually picking up on Trustee Osterling's question, because so I know we've talked about the needle not really moving much despite the amount of resources we put into certain programs. But looking at the scorecards in comparison with the other colleges, so De Anza, as you said, has always, or for the last 5 or 6 years, been number one. So are there best practices that we can see from the other colleges, like De Anza, like College of the Canyons, that we could also use that would help us increase our scorecard measures?
Well, I always think it's important to talk to other colleges, but I also think it's important to understand the populations that we're working with. And I'm not, but De Anza has a very different population than us.
They have a very strong API population.
And white. Their two predominant ethnicities are Asian and white. Not saying anything either way, but I think it's important, and I just appreciate how well we're doing educating our Latina students and bringing them up. But, I looked at all the other colleges, and even like Glendale College, they're like 10 miles away from us. Their population looks vastly different than ours. We're a really cool school because we have a really good population distribution. And we're doing good work.
I think this is also what makes us Aspen Top 10 College, is because the number and percentage of our students who are first in their family to go to college, the number of our students who receive federal Pell Grant, and our distribution by race and ethnicity is more diverse than some of the other institutions you see that are represented on this scorecard. So I think the practices that we have in place that we've implemented, especially over the past few years, from our faculty in math and English and pathways and other disciplines, we'll start to see the fruits of those efforts, but in a few years.
So I have one other question. So with the chancellor's last announcement that we will now accept high school placement and grades as opposed to doing our own placement tests, do you expect that to have an effect on our outcomes?
It may, and this is why we've assembled a multiple measures work group with representatives from faculty and administrators from math, English, ESL, Dr. Junie, myself, so that we can start to also think about the kinds of student support that is needed to go along with this effort. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Martin, you had another question?
Yeah, I had one on the graphs and then a general follow-up. So when you looked at the famous slide 5 with the blue line and it's all fairly flat, and I know that that's a different topic. I think that's completion. And that's different from persistence and career and remedial and some of the other courses where we seem to be doing really, really well across the board. But just to my simple way of thinking, it seems like there would be a correlation there. It seems to me if remedial is working and completion is working, and I mean not completion, but remedial and persistence, and all these other categories are working, that we would see something, some significant change in completion. And I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on that.
Well, I think Dr. Olivo and I both have thoughts on that.
Yeah.
And I think,
Yeah.
you want to tell them?
Well, sure. We do see that trend in the data, that students will stay on course towards their goal. We do see that students who are enrolled part-time, national studies indicate that, time is the enemy. So the longer a student stays on track towards that goal, the more other life issues can become obstacles to completion. And this is why in our Pathways program, for example, we've incentivized full-time enrollment. We now, though, started a cohort for students who are enrolled part-time so that we can begin to figure out how do we support students with all of the other life responsibilities they have so that we can get them to complete and not just retain them from term to term and year to year.
To add to that, Trustee Martin, when you're looking at 4,000 students, 1% is a huge number. If you are a smaller school with only 4,000 students, you'll be looking at a cohort of 400. And you will see, from a psychometric point of view, you will see a wider change, increase or decrease than when you have that many students. To move the needle by 1%, you need to significantly increase the raw numbers. And if you look at the raw data, you will notice that our numbers are going up. But percentage-wise, it's not going up by much because you don't notice it.
Okay, and then I'm going to ask my second question, and then I may re-ask the first one. So my second question is, this is incredibly good stuff, and we all sit here as trustees wondering, what does it mean? And I hear percolating up in your answers that you are doing a lot of internal questions, what does it mean? And I hear things that changes we've made that seem to, pathways and pathways for part-time and all that kind of thing. So it seems to me that a complementary report to this, which would be helpful to me, would be one that just kind of highlights how you're using this data, good or bad, to make changes going forward to support the ideas you have, like, oh, we saw this, so now we're doing a pathways, part-time pathways. That's a perfect example that gives me confidence that it's not just data we're sending to the chancellor, but the real machine here is taking it to heart and working through it.
Absolutely. That's
So
what all
if-
of this data means to us.
Right, and so I guess I'm asking maybe for a one-page follow-up or summary where you highlight for us exactly some of the things that I'm hearing here, but the ones that I'm missing and not.
We can provide you with that information for the December board meeting.
That'd
We'll
be
have
awesome. And
Vice
then,
President Olivo and Junie will work on showing you what we are doing that we expect to make the necessary changes at the December board meeting.
yes, and so to recap the first question, my first question is that of the 5 categories, or 4 or 5, 4 of them are going up just exceptionally well, and yet completion is relatively flat. And it just seems to me that there would be a stronger correlation in some of those other categories that would support even a noticeable change in completion. And I realize they're different. It's kind of like the stock market, I mean, within the stock market, you got large cap, small cap, European. There's a correlation there that moves more or less in the same, but not always, and there's reasons. So that's why I'm just trying to understand, with 4 of the 5 just getting knocked out of the park, do we have some theories why, and you tried to explain to me, I didn't quite get it, why completion just hasn't followed the trend?
If I can comment.
Okay.
And the report that we'll give you in December will look at a number of things that we haven't mentioned, but Crystal has referred to that we'll see in the years to come because of our activities in using multiple measures for placement in the acceleration efforts that English and math are doing. You're not seeing the impact of any of those yet. But I would say that those will also be similar to the issue that you're asking about. Those aren't ultimately completion. Those are helping students get done with their English and math. But their English and math is just a small part of their degree and certificate and transfer. And so really the effort that we're working on now, with a lot of effort that hasn't come up in this conversation, but it's an important part of it, is guided pathways as opposed to just the pathways program. And so really the idea there is having not just having an ed plan, so to speak, which our students are already getting through the SSSP part of what we do for them, but it's actually giving them a map and then the college helping them follow that map so that they'll actually finish their degree in a shorter amount of time. And so what you're asking about is why can't we help them complete their degree in a shorter amount of time? And that's because all these other efforts have been focusing on getting done with their math and English, but it hasn't been focusing on getting done with the whole package. And the guided pathway program that we're looking at and working really hard on will start doing that. And so you'll start seeing that. You may not see huge increases in those numbers for probably longer than 3 years because the guided pathway project is behind the multiple measures and the acceleration part, but you will start seeing impact on completion because of guided pathways.
And I appreciate that answer, and I'll be the first one to say that I think you've picked maybe the right first priorities. It's okay. If that's really the case, we kind of know what remedial means in terms of its importance and just both in terms of resources and people's lives. So I'm not uncomfortable with those being your first priorities, and now we're catching up to this. So I'm just...
And my comment to that would be that with the work that came out at the state level with the student success initiatives, and for example SSSP, the state focused on getting students in, getting them better prepared to come in with orientation and ed plans and things of that nature. It didn't, the state as a whole didn't focus on, now they're here, what do you do to help support them? And there's efforts on that with success centers and learning resources, but the focus has not been on how do you get them past 30 units? It's been getting them to 30 units. And so now the efforts that the state's doing, and Pasadena is really leading in that area, is developing ways to help students get the whole package done by giving them a map and helping them stay on that path so that they get done in a more reasonable amount of time.
And my last comment, thank you, is so I appreciate your answer. I appreciate this report in total. I really appreciate this report. And we sit here meeting after meeting and we talk about student success. And we say student success is our number one priority. And it seems to me if that is true, this is probably one of the most important documents that we look at and review in the entire year. And so that's why I'm asking for that one extra time around on what are we doing with it. Because to me, this is really the dead center bullseye of the target of student success and what we're doing to help the people that are coming. So I want to thank you for that, and I look forward to the December follow-up.
And I'm just going to add one thing to what Dr. Junie said, is that the other piece of this is that last piece of helping students transition out of the institution. And honestly, we haven't really focused on that. So helping them get jobs, helping them transfer to a 4-year. It's not that we don't encourage them to do it, but we're nice here. We have a great system. We have great teachers. We have great classes. So students stay. Because it can be scary to go to another institution where you don't know how to register, enroll, and you don't know the teachers, and you don't have friends. And so that's the next piece for us that we're working, I think, in the guided pathways, is helping students transition out of this great institution, telling them there's another great institution waiting for them.
I'd just like to point out at this point in time that these two points that we're talking about here, the completion, the persistence, and what that impact is on the ultimate objective of going to PCC is what a lot of people ask me about. Excuse me, just talking to the public, constituents and all that. It's something that is really important to them. And, they focus in over the, excuse me, over the years, some people have had or made observations that students linger here too long and they can't get the courses and all that, but I don't hear that as much as I did 4 years ago, and these are things that I like to tell them that we're working on, we're working hard, and we're seeing some success.
And it's one of the things that came out in the Chancellor's Office new Vision for Success is they said they want to reduce the number of units that students take at an institution before they move on. And so they do want us to focus on that. And I think that we understand that. And we've had conversations with students where they say, it's nice here.
Got to go, baby, you got to go.
Okay, I think this is my last one. I hope it's my last one, or I'm going to get kicked off the stage. So this is the CDCP, and again, this is the non-credit. This is our only non-credit scorecard number, and as you can see, again, we're seeing nice increases. I have to congratulate Dr. Bell on this, because I think what we're seeing here is our transition to our courses to being the career development, what's this? College preparation coursework, and I know I always forget it, it's just CDCP. College preparation coursework in non-credit. We've transitioned a lot of courses into this. So we're good?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and I just want to thank you, because this is really, I'm just excited that you actually engaged with the data with me tonight. I appreciate it, and now when I send up the minutes to the Chancellor's Office, I'm going to feel really good, so thank you.
Thank you.
We'll send them a film of this presentation as well.
It was so exciting.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, that brings us to the point of this, item H1.
Move approval.
We need to approve Chancellor's Office 2017 scorecard. Trustee Ilsman.
I move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Osterling. Any further discussion? Vote, please. Passes 6-0 with Trustee Fellow absent and Student Trustee voting in favor. Thank you. H2, approval of resolution authorizing layoff of classified position due to lack of work and/or lack of funds implementing Education Code Section 88017.
We are recommending that the board approve the laying off of this position, which is the position of Space Planning Manager of Facility Design and Construction, because this position, the responsibility of this position falls directly in the job description of the Executive Director of Facilities Maintenance and Operations. And it is our recommendation that this position be eliminated to avoid duplication of position.
I'll move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote, please. Passes 6-0 with Trustee Fellow absent and Student Trustee voting in favor. Thank you. Item H3, adopt annual 3/11 financial report, fiscal year 2016-17, and budget report, fiscal year 2017-18.
I'm going to ask Assistant Superintendent Vice President Dr. Richard Stoughty to give us a brief update on this specific item.
Okay, we're recommending for adoption the annual 311 report. It's a report required by the Chancellor's Office each year, and some of the key features of the report are the budget for 2017-18 and a projection for the actual results for 2017-18. And both of those are in agreement, so currently we're projecting that our results for 17-18 will be exactly how the budget is stated very early on in the year, so we don't have any changes to present. Another key feature of the report is compliance analysis with the 50% law. And the 50% law states that 50% of our general fund expenses need to be on instructional, for instructional purposes. and the district is at 54.54%, so we're well above the 50% law requirement. And that's really, just demonstrates that we're spending a lot of our general fund resources more than required on instructional purposes.
Move approval.
Any, thank you.
I move approval.
Second? Oh,
I
okay.
second. Oh.
Thank you. Is there any discussion or questions? Trustee Martin?
Okay, so I had asked for our, the same information in our more traditional format, and I want to first thank the administration for providing that. I realize this is the first quarter, so there's no real variances as you indicated, but I would appreciate as we move into second and third quarter, we do get that backup, because to read the 311Q to me is extremely difficult, but to read a financial report is understandable. So I would appreciate that, and then I look forward to tracking how we are doing compared to budget in the future. If we did go and have a Budget and Audit Committee meeting, I think it'd be a great place for that to go first before it kicks up here, and then we can bat it around a little bit, but if not, at least we could do it as the whole. So thank you for
It is our
providing
intention to bring this to the Audit and Budget Subcommittee for the second and third quarter, but for the first quarter, there was nothing really to show, so we didn't think that it was necessary to bring the committee
That makes
together.
sense. Thank you.
Any further comments or discussion? Vote, please.
Yeah, we had a motion.
Yes, there was.
Passes 6-0 with trustee Fellow absent and student trustee voting in favor. Item H4, selection of presidential search firm. I expect that we will defer the actual selection, but leading up to that, I'd like to give the full board and the public a rundown of where we are on this item, presidential search firm. The ad hoc committee consisting of Trustee Wah, immediate past president, Trustee Osterling, clerk of the board, and myself as president of the board. We've met, we've had some discussions, and we've been unable in the time since the last board meeting to accomplish this checking of references of the firms that made their presentations. We announced that we were going to do that. We were just unable to get this finished because of some logistics. We anticipate commencing that very quickly. There are several things that, as we look ahead now for the cycle that we're going to be going through to arrive at a selection for a new president sometime in the spring. First of all, we're going to have to make the selection of the search firm. Upon selecting the search firm, the very next thing that we're likely to need to do is to, and by the way, the selection of the search firm will be done at a board meeting. The full board will be voting. The full board will receive input from Trustee Wah, Trustee Osterling, and me on the results of our reference checking. After a search firm is selected and retained, probably the first question that we will need to resolve is the way in which we will solicit input from the community, the college, students, the public, on what they feel we should be sure to consider in crafting a position description and going out with a package to the public, announcing formally announcing the opening. After that, and in order for that to, so we'll need to come up with a process for soliciting this input. This should be done in consultation. We agreed that this should be done in consultation with the search firm, and with reference to what we did last time around. And then following the public input, which will help inform the position description, a formal position description will need to be approved by the whole board, and with that, we will be at a point where it'll just be, to a significant extent, logistics on the part of the search firm we select in order to have the final package together and get it on the street. Could happen in December, might happen in January, but that's the approximate time frame. So wanted to give a update to that extent. Things that our board's going to have to deal with and come up with a decision on, or how are we going to do the exactly getting the public input, which is very important, and then an action to approve the position description and that part of the package. One other thing that I'd like to remind the board members about is our need to appoint a screening committee. The makeup of the screening committee, for everybody's information, is described in a bylaw of the board, and each trustee has an appointment to that committee. There are other individual representatives specified in that. I'm going to talk to the individual who I had appointed last time around, and encourage the trustees to think about this soon, and perhaps if you were on the board and appointed a representative last time, talk to that representative, get some idea about how it worked out, and what whether might want to appoint the same person or get feedback on what would be the best way and to come up with a nominee. So those are the things that I'd just like to bring to your attention. As I said, we don't have, the ad hoc committee doesn't have the input back yet from the reference checks. Now, Trustee Osterling, Trustee Waugh, do you have anything to add?
No.
No.
Any questions from other board members? Okay, well, thank you very much. What's the correct procedure for not taking action? Just to table, defer, what's the terminology?
Just table it to the next meeting.
It will be tabled until the next meeting. Thank you. Information items, Superintendent President's report.
Well, I'd like to start my report by congratulating Mr. Todd Hampton in the approval of the consent calendar. You just approved Mr. Todd Hampton as the interim executive director of maintenance, operations, and facilities, and we have flown the permanent position. Our campus has come together to host a series of events in the wake of the death on campus of a former student by suicide. Yesterday, the Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health was in our quad sharing resources on suicide prevention. Today, our personal counseling staff hosted an open forum to allow our students, faculty, and staff share their feelings, air their views, and channel their energies to help others who are in need. In early November, we will be hosting a training session with Didi Hirsch Mental Health Services to further educate our community. There are many on our campus who are grieving this loss, and we are doing all we can to offer support and guidance to those in pain. Last week, I was pleased to see Trustees Selvage, Osterling, and Waugh join deans, vice presidents, and other college staff to host a luncheon for superintendents and principals around our district. Inviting our K-12 partners to campus has become a bit of a tradition for us, and we enjoyed the chance to have a dialogue about multiple measures and other steps we are taking to ensure our students' success. The setting was the Center of the Arts, which gave us an excellent chance to show off the faculty, facilities, and programs that set PCC apart from our peers. On Monday, we hosted at Assemblyman Christopher Holden's office our annual reception for new faculty and staff, and I was pleased to see so many turn out for this event. A great thank you to Trustees Brown and Waugh for gracing us with their presence. This week, we have been pleased to mark our English Division's annual Writer in Residence series. This year's guest is Natasha Dion, a 2017 NAACP Image Award nominee and author of the critically acclaimed novel Grace. Ms. Dion hosted 2 events this week, a writing workshop and a public reading earlier today. We are very glad to offer this enrichment activity to our students and community. Also, this week, our 2 art galleries conclude their public exhibitions. The Boone Gallery has been host to Sharpener, an exhibit of faculty work, and our V Gallery has been displaying a range of African artifacts from the collection of June Harwood. If you haven't seen these shows yet, I suggest you make time to visit before they close this Friday. Also, you all know that we are now one of the 150 community colleges nationwide eligible to apply for the Aspen Award 2019. I must say that we are one of very few colleges in the state of California that got that distinction. Last Saturday, the Hispanic Heritage Parade was held in Pasadena. It was a great success. The college was well represented with about 30 students from our transfer center and myself, and I want to thank Director Tamika Alexander and Mr. Alan de la Vara, who worked very hard to make this a successful event for the college. Our football team has won 3 games in a row, a first since 2010. We are looking forward to winning 4 in a row this Saturday when we play Glendale. Glendale is 0-6, so as far as we are concerned, this should be an easy game.
We better be 4-0.
John Muir High School beat Glendale High School last week, 50-something, so.
No
I think a little,
pressure.
Sort of a downtime for the Glendale schools, perhaps, this year.
Other good news from our Division of Athletics. Our very own baseball coach, Mr. Pat McGee, is now the 2016-2017 South Coast Conference Men's Coach of the Year. A first time in the history of Pasadena City College where we have a Men's Coach of the Year. So, another piece of good news about the college. On December 5th, we will be recognized at the College Opportunity event in Los Angeles at the Los Angeles Center Club. City Club. We will be recognized for being one of the top 3 colleges in the state in awarding associate degrees for transfer. We will be there in the presence of Speaker of the House Kevin De Leon and Janet Napolitano. So we are doing very well. The PCC is doing very, very well. And I will be going to Kern Community College districts in the next few weeks. I've been asked to come there by the league to provide technical assistance on shared governance and relationships on campus. So I hope I'll do I was asked to come back because I did a good job last year apparently there. So I don't know how, but then I have also been asked to be on the panel for the Executive Leadership Summit at De Anza College in San Jose. So
Now we know why they're the top.
complete. This concludes my report.
Now it's all coming together.
Thank you. Now we move to announcements. 1, announcements by shared governance representatives, starting with Associated Students.
Hello and good evening, everyone. So October has been a really busy month for Associated Students. This past weekend, we just came back from Seesaw, which was in San Jose. It's a leadership conference where we got the opportunity to meet and network with all the other community colleges here across the state. We learned a lot, and one of the main things that we've learned is how grateful we are of the resources and support that we can have here at PCC. So I'd just like to say thank you to everyone for that. Next, this week, we actually have our midterm relaxation week. Last week, we had a disability awareness event, and then also the weekend of Halloween will be our homecoming weekend as well. And so also by the end of the month, we're hoping to finish and approve our resolution that we want to write pertaining to our Dreamers and our DACA students and undocumented students as well. And then hopefully by mid-November of next month, we will be able to have our advocacy week that we're planning as well. And lastly, so since the passing of our fellow Lancer last week, we've noticed that there's a level of distress on campus. And so right now, we want to take this opportunity to be proactive and let our students know about the resources we have here on campus, as well as make sure that they're accessible to them. So AS, we are brainstorming some ideas that we have, but I just want to take this moment to ask staff and faculty that whatever students that you are engaged with on a daily basis, please make sure to reach out, extend a hand, and let them know that you're there for them, because sometimes just a simple gesture or that human interaction can really make a difference. So thank you. That concludes my reports.
Thank you. Classified Senate.
Good evening. Yes, I'm here. I'm sitting in for Ms. Joseph. She apologizes for not being able to be here tonight, and she will hopefully be here for the next meeting. Today, the Classified Senate voted unanimously to support a resolution regarding a safe learning environment. A copy will be sent to the board secretary so she can distribute it out to the board so you can review that. Also, on September 29th, the Classified Senate hosted its first professional development workshop entitled Demystifying Classified Senate. We were happy to see classified staff in attendance as we discussed how we, educated them on knowing who the Senate is and what they actually do for shared governance. And lastly, the Classified Senate will host its annual Halloween event, which will take place on Tuesday, October 31st, and we extend an invitation to everyone. Thank you.
Will people be expected to wear costumes?
Yes. Strongly encouraged.
Fancy dress, as they say in some countries. Thank you. Management Association, please.
Thank you. Thank you. This evening, I would like to inaugurate a Manager of the Month, for which I intend to recognize one or two or three exemplary members of the MA team. Dr. Dave Douglas, formerly Management Associate President and sitter in this chair, and currently the Dean of Natural Sciences, is the first. Apart from being a great dean colleague and, frankly, a campus icon, Dr. Dave is an indefatigable promoter of managers' professional development, most recently through his email 2-Minute PD, that is, articles he has discovered and shared that are invariably engaging, valuable, and so more often than not, damned funny. Dave's most recent, you'll love this title, This Is How It Really Feels to Be the Oldest Person in the Office, is a perfect example of this. If any of the members of the board would like me to forward that along to them, I'll be happy to do so. And this concludes my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dean Douglas is well known to us and it's well deserved. Thank you. Board of Trustees, student trustee.
Good evening, everyone. Towards the end of September, I attended the ACCT Leadership Congress Conference with the Board of Trustees. The ACCT Leadership Congress Conference is an annual conference in which Board of Trustees from numerous colleges across the nation attend. I attended workshops that enhanced my knowledge of various divisions within the community college system. I also learned about college accreditation and online learning initiatives as well. I also attended the student trustee workshop where I networked with various student trustees and shared ideas. Finally, associated students and I would like to send our heartfelt sympathy to the friends and family of the former Pasadena City College student who took away his own life last week. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Brown?
Well, I must say that I had the opportunity to attend a Latino Heritage Celebration right here in Villa, which was a different place, but it was really good. And I was very proud to see our students down there promoting PCC with every little gadget that they had. It was quite nice, so I enjoyed that. Thank you.
Trustee Hilsman.
Yes, just briefly, I also attended the conference that Nini was talking about. We were very glad to have the student trustee there and get to know her better, and as well as her father, actually. So it was a productive meeting, I thought, and these conferences are great not only for the chance to learn about some of the other colleges and trustees, but also to have conversations with our fellow trustees. As you may know, with the Brown Act, we don't get a chance to talk very much, and some of these conferences are the only opportunity that we get to really share some of our views. So that's my report. Thank you.
Trustee Osterling.
As Dr. Verdian already mentioned, several of the trustees attended the high school superintendents and principals lunch last weekend, and those trustees can be evidenced, along with Dr. Olivos, by their just now recovering from extreme sunburn, especially those of us that have less protection on top than others. About a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, the USC News wrote a featured article on a PCC alum, Cesar Jimenez. And Cesar, those of you that know him, is a fully disabled veteran who graduated here from PCC and was accepted at USC with some help from Dr. Verdian. Thank you for that. And the article was really both inspirational for what he's accomplished and sobering for what he's gone through to get there. And I've checked in with Cesar, and he's doing well and adjusting at USC. And the next thing that we're working on is to get him into the School of Social Work, where they have a veterans counseling program. So he's already looking ahead to a master's degree there. And then lastly, coming up on Monday, October 30th, is our LACSTA meeting. LACSTA is the Los Angeles County School Trustees Association, and our featured speaker will be State Senator Ben Allen, who also chairs the Education Committee for the California State Senate, and I would encourage all of my fellow trustees to attend that meeting as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Martin.
No report, other than I'd like to sign up for Dr. Dave's
Email blast.
email management on how to deal with being old and other topics.
I didn't mean to call anyone out in particular.
You called us all out.
Trustee Wah.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on attending the new faculty reception that Trustee Brown and I were at. So I had a chance to meet some of the new faculty, and very impressive, and it certainly shows the college's progress in making sure that we're hiring the new faculty and staff who are really focused and targeted on sort of the new directions for our students. So I want to congratulate you all for some very good picks, and it was great to meet them. Just also wanted to comment on a couple of events coming up. I know some of us are attending the Racial Justice Breakfast the YWCA has for next Monday. And then the Asian Youth Center, which serves youth of all color from all over the San Gabriel Valley, will be having their gala. And this is sort of their fundraiser that provides the money, the resources that they need to provide the after-school programs for all of the youth. And also Cal State LA, the College of Education, which produces, I think, almost 80% of the educators here in LA County, will be having their Distinguished Educators Award on November 3rd, and they will be recognizing Compton Chancellor Keith Curry. So if any of you are interested, let me know, and I'll certainly let Dean Ney know. And then, of course, on November 16th, just right after our next board meeting, the league will be having their, it will be the annual conference, and that will be in San Jose. And the joint caucuses will be holding our workshop on November 16th, so I hope everyone will have a chance to go, or November 17th, I'm sorry, on that Friday, and I hope everyone will have a chance to go. It will be really, it will be focused on the diverse issues that all of us and our colleges are facing, and what we as trustees can do to help promote that student success. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Verdian kind of stole my thunder a little bit about our exhibits that we've got over there at the Center for the Arts, the Boone Gallery, and the V Gallery. I was over here on Art Night, which was last Friday night. We're a little bit of an outlier locationally on Art Night, but I tell people that it's great if you're going to do Art Night. Come here, it's easy to park, and you get the shuttle to all the other places where it's crowded. But in any case, I came here, and if you haven't gone over there to the Boone Gallery and seen the type of art that our faculty produces, you're really missing out. You got to go see it. And it's one more week.
And it's both on Friday.
Okay. And one other item, I guess this is the last regular meeting we have before Veterans Day. Veterans Day is the 11th of November. It's on a Saturday. And former trustee, PCC trustee Bill Thompson is pretty much in charge of organizing and making this event happen. It'll be on the steps of the City Hall. That's the west side of City Hall on Garfield. Probably kick off about 10 or 10:30. There's a very good speaker. And from time to time, we've had music provided by one of PCC's musical ensembles. Not this year, however. But in any case, it's a great event, and people should consider going over there. It's Saturday morning on the 11th of November. That concludes my comments. Proposed future board business meeting dates. Does anybody have any comments or suggestions about future board meeting dates? Okay, hearing none. Proposed future agenda items. There were some listed in the last pages of the agenda package. Okay, hearing none. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Plea to adjourn.
Yeah, we have a plea to adjourn. I haven't heard a second.
This meeting out of its misery.
Meeting's adjourned.